Self-worth as a deeply held belief will show up in lots of areas of your life that you're not consciously aware of, and an objection around money might be an example of that.
Hello and welcome to our Spotlight series. I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today we're talking to a coach that combines the best of NLP, coaching techniques, with energy work to produce faster results and more sustainable results. He's helped literally thousands of people, including me, overcome a wide range of personal challenges. Our guest today is Corah from Spiritual NLP, and Marcus joins us from Hampton in Victoria, Australia. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Carla. Awesome to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be part of, obviously, the directory, but this podcast as well.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. And look, our topic today, Marcus, is the perception of reality and energy, and how we can bring both of those together in business to sell more products and to grow our business. So this is a really fascinating topic, and I know this because I've had personal experience from working with you and on your programs. Which is why I'm really excited that we get to share what you do with others. So let's jump in, and let me first ask you, you said, I said in the intro that perception is really important to selling. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Let me go here and set this up in a really quick way. I've been an NLP and master practitioner for about 12, 13 years now, and part of that was hypnosis as well. And one of the key things that I loved about NLP was it has these presuppositions, and one of the presuppositions is the map is not the territory. And what we mean in NLP by that is, if you have a street map of, say, the city of Melbourne, it's not the city of Melbourne, it's a representation. And because of the way we filter our experience of the world using our beliefs and our values, basically we receive information through our five senses. The current estimate is about 15 million bits of information every second. We filter it down to 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information into our conscious awareness. So what we experience of the world is a fraction of what's actually out there. And this is the map is not the territory conversation, right? And what happens in this moment is, or what this means ultimately to us, is that we're not experiencing real reality. We're experiencing a version of reality based on our beliefs, values, meta programs, and other things. And the reason why this is important is it means that everybody we meet is, our world only exists in our head. And if our world only exists in our head, then everybody we meet is just a reflection of us. So on this call, there is really only me, because, Carla, you are my representation of you, right? And there's only you, and I am a representation of you to you. So in terms of selling and engaging and prospects and all of that stuff, what it means is when we're selling, we're actually ultimately, if you buy into this model, and whether it's true or not is not important, it's whether or not it's useful. If you buy into this model, then, for example, the objections that you get about your product, service, or offer aren't external objections. They're internal objections. They're your own, ironically, your own personal objections about your product or service. But you don't often realize why that's happening or how they're coming about. So let me explain it a little bit by giving you an example. Let's say we have a common objection of when I'm selling my product or service, people say it's too expensive. Now, realistically, they're not saying it's too expensive. It's your projection of them that says that it's too expensive. So what is the belief that you hold about yourself that is creating this external representation around money? And a classic example might be something around self-worth. Self-worth as a deeply held belief will show up in lots of areas of your life that you're not consciously aware of. And an objection around money might be an example of that, for example. So that's one side of the thing. The other side of this is the positive bit, all the bits you get excited about in your business that other people get excited about. That is because you hold positive beliefs about your business as well. So the positive things are reflected back to you as people's excitement about working with you, your business, what you do, etc. And the issues that people have are issues that are reflected back based on your beliefs. So that's kind of like how the perception part starts to play out. Does that make sense in that realm?
Yeah, and look, it's a really deep conversation to have and you've done a fabulous job in summarizing it in a really succinct way that I think there'll be some curiosity around this. But what I'm curious about is, how does energy play into this? You talked about combining both of them in terms of wanting to sell more, grow your business. Tell me a little bit about that and how that fits in.
So there are two ways we can go with this. The first way we can go with this is to say that if there's only me and everybody I meet is just a reflection of me, and I'm only ultimately selling to me, then what is the connection between the you that's the real you, Carla, and the me that's the real me? Because there are two of us here, although I can only see a projection, my projection of you. So for me, the connection is energy. So the frequency that I'm putting out about my business is that will attract people who are looking for that frequency, but push away people who aren't looking for that frequency. So when you are passionate and excited about your business, you're putting out a certain energetic frequency, and that's what connects people to you. That's why they come to you. That's why they're looking for you, because they're looking for that frequency that meets where they're at. Now, obviously, if you've got one level of frequency and somebody else is on a completely different level, the chances are you're not going to end up working together, just because there's going to be that mismatch. And for whether you're consciously aware of it or not, you'll probably end up, not working together at all. That's one side of this. I guess the other side of this is, if the idea that your entire world only exists in your head, why not give yourself a few superpowers? Because if it's only here, then why not create everything that you want here and then project it out into the world? So for me, what I was interested in was, from a selling standpoint, the thing that got me into this is I wanted to, it sounds crazy, read people's minds. That's what I wanted to be able to do. So that's another whole conversation for another day. But where I've ended up with it is, how do I use energy to create more opportunity for myself in a business context? And so I kind of said, I want this superpower, for want of a better word. So I basically said, okay, if this were real, what would it be like for me? What would I be able to do? How would I be able to do it? And so that's kind of where I started. And from there, I just realized that you can call energy in, there's universal energy, you can call it in and you can use it, or you can ask it to do things for you, and it will do things, whether that's, in a coaching session, helping people break through their beliefs or healing them from things. That's one way you can use it, but you can also use it in other ways. If you come to the idea of a logo, a company logo is both a visual representation of your business, but it's also an energetic representation of your business. So imagine if you could, a lot of people probably haven't even thought about this, but if your logo is a energetic representation, then everybody that's ever had any positive or negative thoughts about you, your business, what you do, the sector in general, like selling or whatever, then if they've had both positive and negative thoughts, those energies are going to stick to your logo. So it might be a really good idea every now and again to clear out your logo energetically, so that you can, it's like sort of cleaning out your house, really. It's, it gives it like a fresh coat of paint and all of that kind of thing. It resets it energetically so that you can go back and then put the energy that you want into it, rather than leaving it to chance. But I guess, as I say, most people haven't thought about things like that before.
This is a really great conversation. I've written some key words that you've said, Marcus. The energy, frequency, superpowers. Which prompts the question. We're talking about growing your business and getting more sales, but where else can you use energy for? Can you help energy to overcome, a fear of failure, a fear of success, or those areas. Tell us a little bit more where you can use that.
So really, you're only limited by your imagination. Let me kind of go here and say this. Suppose energy is real, that you can call it in and that you can flow it into something, whether that's a person, an object, or whatever. Now, if you believe you can do that, chances are you'll be able to do it. So in my experience, the things that I've worked with people on, their deeper held limiting beliefs or whatever, those beliefs are just an energetic frequency, right? And if you have a higher frequency, because you're calling in a higher frequency energy and you flow it into the person with the issue, chances are that issue will go away because the higher frequency energy will dissolve the lower frequency energy. So that's a very simplistic way to answer that question.
It reminds me of you're tuning into a radio station. It's about what frequency you're on. So for people that are listening, Marcus, business owners, salespeople, the general public, they want to know more about this. Where can they access the tools and your programs?
A lot. So this is in the works right now. I have got one example of a program that's up right now, and I'm going to launch the other one. I've just been super busy. But if you go to spiritualnlp.com, all the programs that I'm going to be creating will be on there, and they're also on Udemy as well. But it's because it's all about helping people.
Terrific. And my final question to you, Marcus, what does listing on the coaching directory mean for you and your business?
I think the most important thing for me is reaching more people and sharing these ideas with more people, so that if these ideas benefit people and benefit them in not only a sales context but in a life context, then that's really exciting for me. I think the coaching directory gives me an opportunity to share with more people these ideas, and that's really done, fabulous.
And we need to hear more of these ideas. You need to have a broader audience. Well, thank you, Marcus. That brings us to the end of our Spotlight interview. So thank you for shining the spotlight on energy healing and the use of energy in our business, but also in our life in general.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Carla.
It's our pleasure. And thank you to our listeners for joining us and following our Spotlight series. If you enjoy our show, please rate and review us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. This is Carla Egan from the Coaching Directory, where we connect you to your ideal coach. Bye for now.